topic there. I mean, interest rates are like I said, they're going to be high for.
They're going to be high for a while.
A while. Yep. So, I guess it helps to be in an area with high demand.
Absolutely.
So, you have to be strategic.
All right. Hello, Profit Diggers. Chris Work here. So happy you could join us this evening. I'm here with Jerry Work.
Hello.
Jerry Spencer.
What's
What's going on, fellas?
Good, man. How are you?
Man, dang it. You have a saying for that, and I couldn't think of it. So if I was doing any better or something. But hey, that's all right, though. I'm doing great, so we're all good. Yeah. Well, I
was better, but I got over it.
God, it's better if I got over it. That's it. Yeah. Well, I got my mail the other day, got my property taxes in, and I'm about to put a call in, I guess, to the county and be like, if y'all want to cut me a check, it's yours. We'll all go on about our way.
Don't get me started. Boy, I hate some property taxes.
Oh, I hate property taxes. Oh, I hate them. But nothing. It's just interest rates. I think it's part of it, man. It's just driving the cost of property up. Housing costs is through the roof. If you need to finance anything, it's through the roof right now.
I think that's the government's way of trying to slow down the economy right now.
Well, it is.
Everything's the old saying goes, everything's going up but our wages. I mean, people can't keep up with what they're buying.
Mm-hmm.
So there got to be some changes made somewhere somehow.
Well, so how's that affecting your industry, Jeff? What are you seeing out there? Are interest rates causing things to slow down? Or?
Well, yes and no. I mean, in our prominent area right here, it's been booming, has been for a while. Of course, Middle Tennessee is a hot spot right now.
Mm-hmm.
But we've seen things go. Well, and I hate to even talk about it, but you go back to 2007, 8, 9, when we had the crash.
Now wait, this isn't a horror movie, right? This is just
close to it, yeah. But back then, whenever the banks and stuff start realizing, we can't just keep giving this money away, and everybody's going belly up. We can't keep doing this. Yeah. They went into a phase where they was building apartments. We had a major increase in apartment complexes, across our area.
And they're still building.
Yeah.
Well, it's reset. It's reset again. Yeah.
And, now since, the talk of interest rates going up, and now they have went up, you start to see more and more people get away from the single family homes. The subdivision is starting to slow down, and we've got more apartment complexes coming across our bid table right now. Mm-hmm. So, it's just a sign of times that, people want to hunker down and rent and lease instead of being tied into a long-term mortgage with 7 to 8% interest rates.
Sure.
And, you got to stop and think, with 7 to 8% interest rate on a mortgage, you're looking at probably at least somewhere between a 9 and 11%, interest on your loan.
And what did you say earlier? The average price of a house in Tennessee now?
Yeah, well, in Middle Tennessee and around Nashville, the average home right now is $500,000.
$1 million, and then 7 or 8% interest. That's
we're not talking about West Coast. We're talking about Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right.
That's a hefty.
Right now they consider a starter home $350,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's a starter home.
Yeah. So as far as its impact then on contractors, I mean, we're not at the point yet where it's really impacting them, except it's just the focus of work.
Right. If you are primarily into like subdivision work, and that's what you're doing, now you're having to look at more like commercial, industrial type buildings and of course, apartment complexes.
Yeah.
Townhomes, apartments, stuff that like townhomes can be either leased or they can be bought, one way or the other.
Sure.
So there's still a lot of townhomes going up, and there's still some subdivision work that's ongoing. That's been in the works. They're going to continue on with phase after phase.
Yeah, they're not going to stop.
Right.
Just because interest rates have gone.
Right.
I mean, it's.
But when they get to the point where they can't sell any houses, and then it's gonna come to a halt.
Yeah.
And are we heading that way? I think so. And, I don't know how fast, but from what I've been hearing and seeing, the interest rates that they went up, they're going to be there for at least a year and a half before they start coming down. So we're in for a long haul here. It's going to be high interest for a year and a half, 2 years. Before we can see a drop. Mm-hmm. Will it ever go back to 3% or less? I don't know.
Well, what about the small contractor who relies on that line of credit at his bank? Does this have an impact on him? I mean, or is he just putting that additional cost into his bid? And is everyone just having to do that?
Well, I mean, yes and no. A lot of times, you can't really compare like a line of credit, you run your business on to like a mortgage.
Well, no, you can't, but the interest rate is still increasing.
It's increasing.
Yeah. I know it's a shorter term,
yeah,
but.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, just curious.
It still stings a little bit, but it shouldn't be enough to really, most people, depending on what your line of credit is, the size of your business, but like a small business, most of the time you're going to have like a $250,000 line of credit or less in a small business.
Okay. So
in the grand scheme of things, it's like $50 a month in payments,
Okay. So not a big deal.
$50 to $100 a month, something like that, depending on what your terms, that you've got worked out with your bank or your lender. But it's not really detrimental on a line of credit, for a small construction company. If you are small and you've got to have more than that, then, you may want to rethink how the structure.
You need to reevaluate, the situation as a whole. Okay.
Well, because another thing is the rate of interest that a big builder or a commercial operation is paying. It's not just 7 or 8% that you're going to get on a mortgage, right?
No, you're paying more for that short term.
For the short term loan.
For a short term loan. And of course, if you make a $10,000 draw, your interest's not going to be that bad. When you start getting up, like say you're building a $500,000 home, when you start getting up in that $350,000 to $400,000 range, that interest is going to sting every month when you got to pay it.
Well, just in general though, like what we see as an interest rate on a mortgage, that doesn't necessarily reflect the interest rate that a builder or an owner is going to pay on a big project, right?
Well, it depends. A lot of owners are not necessarily using a bank; they're using investors. And so, if you've got a large facility here, that you're going to be putting out for bid, either you've got the money for it and you could possibly be using a bank, but more than likely you're going to have a multitude of investors that are backing you on this, and it may be interest free. They're looking at long term, they might not be charging interest, they're going to get theirs on the backside.
Or the flip side of that too, though, I know it isn't a lot, but you look at, various investing machines at this point, money markets account, for example.
Right.
The interest rates are way up on a money market account. Yeah. So if I'm an investor and I have a bunch of money, it's like, well, if I'm not able to pass off at least the increase I'm able to earn on my cash for doing nothing to a builder or a contractor, then why even invest in them?
Yeah.
Well, all right. So you're talking about a shift in building from a lot of like homes to multifamily commercial or apartment buildings. Mm-hmm. Where does this end? If interest rates stay high, do things keep on booming or does that eventually catch up with it?
Well, it's going to catch up eventually, but at the rate, I haven't checked on it in over a year, but at one time it was like an average of Nashville, there's 450 people a day moving into Nashville. And it may be up now. I don't know. It may be way it went down. I don't know. It's been over a year since I've seen anything on that.
Yeah, I've looked at statistics.
But I say it's at least 400 plus a day that's still moving into Nashville area. How long can we sustain that? I don't know. We run out of property, and we're building high rise after high rise downtown. The other day I counted over 30 tower cranes in roughly the downtown area, in Nashville, So, I mean, you know, that's a sign. We've got these multi-use buildings now. They're commercial stuff on the bottom and they're residential on top. And that seems to be the going thing right now. But I mean, there again, that comes with a high sticker price. You know, you think, you know, $1,800, $2,000 is a lot for a mortgage on a home. You live downtown and you've got half the square footage that home would cost you, and you're paying, you know, $2,500 to $4,000 a month.
Well,
for one of these high-rise apartments or high-rise.
not to mention, I mean, like if you're in Nashville, for example, like the HOA fees and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
You can add that on top.
Ridiculous. Like you could probably buy a pretty nice house for what it costs to live in downtown Nashville.
Oh my
right
goodness,
now.
absolutely.
Well, and you know, we talked about a few weeks ago about airspace. You know, like whenever if you're a downtown area and you got a crane set up and you've got to swing materials over this business here, then they own this block of ground right here. And their ground, since you're talking about high rises, their ground goes all the way to the sky. So if you swing it over them, you got to rent airspace and then to swing over their building. And yeah, that's what they call it, airspace. You know, you gotta rent that to be able to move your materials. If you have no way to do it, you got to swing over their property. Then you got to pay that. And if y'all, I don't know if y'all, I try not to watch the news no more than I have to anymore. But
Same.
I did.
Yeah, there's rarely anything positive. Yeah.
I did 2 nights ago. I was sitting at home. I turned the TV on a minute and went to fix my plate and stuff. You know, getting ready to eat some dinner. And I think it was Channel 4 was watching. I believe what was on, and they were talking about some of the local businesses and stuff down there. The people were feeling unsecured about, you know, swinging all this heavy materials and stuff over their building they live in.
I can see that, yeah. Well, a lot of them have like rooftop pools and stuff, you know, like.
Right.
Well, I guess this time of year it wouldn't apply unless it's heated.
Right.
But you imagine.
I don't know how comfortable I'd feel if I'm lying there in the pool and there's a giant beam.
And there's a ton of material or more being just swung over. Yeah. That would make you feel uneasy. Yeah.
But you know, I don't really understand all of it. I just know bits and pieces of it and what I hear and what I deal with on the projects I do downtown. But yeah, you know, it's just crazy, you know, how many ways they can find to charge somebody money to be able to build a structure. You know, it's
Absolutely. Yeah. Well,
Pretty interesting little topic there.
Yep.
I mean, interest rates are like I said, they're going to be high for
they're gonna be high for a while.
a
Yep.
while.
Yep.
So I guess it helps to be in an area with high demand.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you just have to be
But-
strategic.
Yeah.
on the grand scheme of things, you know, if it works like it's supposed to, you know, when it's all said and done, building materials and stuff should be a lot cheaper. Get back to a normal rate.
It should get there, and the price of the property itself
Yeah.
should come down,
Right.
You know, to reflect the adjustment. But
Yeah.
but we're right at the we're at the tip.
Yeah.
So
All right, just keep building, I guess.
keep building. Yeah.
Keep working.
That's all you can do.
Use ProfitDig to track your costs.
You should probably
so
do
you can make more money.
Absolutely. That's it. All right. Well,
Jim?
thanks, fellas.
Thank you, guys.
Jeff,
Thank y'all.
Oh,
check us out.
Yep.
You go.
Well, all right, yeah, check us out, ProfitDig.com.
Absolutely.
And please come back to our YouTube channel
Yep.
many times, or Facebook, wherever you find us.
Wherever you find us.
More material. Yep.
Absolutely. We'll see you there.
See ya.
See ya.